I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a special presentation here on the on the National Racing Network. It's the iRacing 23 Cars of Suzuka, coming to you from the Suzuka International Circuit, Suzuka Mie Prefecture, Japan. U.S. Open Wheel C Cars Indy Pro 2000. My name is Chris Graham, joined in the booth, as always, by Mr. James Watson and Mr. Patrick Byrne. And I'll tell you what here, James, will come to you first. I don't get why we're going to have the second part of this conversation, but the first part is Suzuka is fantastic. One of the great circuits of the world, 18 turns, 3.6 miles. Lewis Hamilton just lightning fast around here in America. This place is just incredible.
That it is. It's one of the greatest racing circuits in the world, honestly. Like, there's no other circuit like it. Like, the S's, when you get those right, there's no real better feeling in motorsports. It's got so many iconic corners, from the S's to Degner's, Spoon Curve, 130R. So, it's always fun coming here and racing in practically anything.
Yeah, it's a blast to run around here, and Bizzle will come to you for this next one because, again, this is the part that I don't get. Nobody shows up for this. I don't understand the lack of love from the iRacing community for Suzuka as we're following along with Carter Lundy here. I don't know. Enlighten us. What is your Larry McDizzle, America's Worst Crew Chief, take on why we don't get participation at Suzuka?
Because frankly, I don't know. This is like top 5 of my favorite tracks on the platform and in the world. So I couldn't tell you why people don't like running this track. It's probably because it's difficult. There's no two corners on this track that are alike. You can't compare this track to anyone else, so you don't really have a baseline for the setup. You have a bunch of high-speed corners like 130R. You have the hairpin right here, which is incredibly slow. You have Spoon, which is a double apex corner, so that one's tough just to begin with. But it's so much fun to get around, and frankly, I just don't understand why people don't come out here.
I don't get it either, but I think we're in for a pretty good show here tonight, because looking at the... let's see, there we go. Looking at the entry list here, Ted Burns is here this week. Carter Lundy, David Porcelli, Everett Paddock. A lot of fast race cars and guys that are at the head of the line in terms of the championship. So no real surprises here that we're going to see some, quite frankly, pretty spectacular racing here tonight as we wait for the first of the laps to come up here onto the scoreboard. Thank you to everybody that is tuned in on Facebook and on YouTube here tonight. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us here, as Carter Lundy is currently working lap number 1 of his qualification run.
I'm still just in love with that paint scheme. It's one of the greatest of all time. I just can't get over it.
still waiting on Nagisa Yoshikawa to make his way out onto the racetrack. Other than that, all 23 cars are out on the racing surface, either turning their out lap or their first of 2 qualification laps, down to right about 4 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the qualifying session. First lap on the board belongs to David Porcelli, 1 minute 54.271. Brian Labarge about 7/10 off on his first lap. Rod Eskew, Simon Fell also getting laps in. The law firm Alexander Wesley Hazelworth up to second quick, 1 minute 54.457. He picked up the win 1 week ago, getting his first SOF win. Carter Lundy, no quick time, 1 minute 53.805, almost a half second faster than David Porcelli, which is ridiculous. As we are now following along with David Porcelli. Teddy B up to second quick, 154.138, only a third of a second back of Lundy. See what Porcelli can do here, as he is currently working sector number 2, 31 flat in sector 2, now working sector 3. It's quite frankly still a long way to go around this racetrack. Tonight's race scheduled only going to be 13 laps, and James, that really puts you in a position of, yeah, if you don't qualify on the front couple of rows, you're going to have to make a move here pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's hard to say on whether or not it feels like it goes by fast, because like 13 laps is not a lot, but it's a pretty lengthy lap for these cars around most of the F1 circuits. And, you know, we say it a lot, it tends to get draft locked, so you're going to have that to help you, but not as much as we see from other circuits on the schedule, because it's a little hard to draft up through the S's, but once you get out of Spoon and go down the back straightaway to 130R, you're going to have a lot of draft to play with, but it's going to take some great laps to stay in the draft through all the S's.
Oh my goodness. David Porcelli got within 1/100th of a second of Carter Lundy on his second lap, and then Lundy goes 3/10 faster on lap number 2. Absolutely insane stuff out of Carter Lundy. Teddy B over the line, lap number 2, 153.876, 8/1000 separating Ted Burns and David Porcelli. Unfortunately, well, it's not going to do him any good here. Let's see who else we have out here. Let's pick up Jason Paydu. He is currently working lap number 2 in the Napa Auto Parts colors on his number 20 machine here tonight.
It always amazes me, Carter Lundy in qualifying. You see Ted Burns and David Porcelli within 9/1000ths of a second of each other. And then there's Carter Lundy in another solar system 3/10 ahead of Ted Burns.
Just absolutely incredible stuff that we're seeing out of Carter Lundy here. Let's see who else is still out on the racetrack. Andrew Thompson is on the speedway. Well, he's on pit lane anyway, as qualifications have come to a conclusion. And unfortunately, if you were watching on Facebook, well, Facebook decided they don't like us either. So I got to see what the deal was there. But Enjoy the feed on YouTube. Robert Kreiser, thank you very much for checking in. We appreciate you hanging out with us. As everybody gets ready to come to the grid, let's see. We'll get the cameras fired up here, and let's show you tonight's starting grid for the U.S. Open Wheel C-Class here at Suzuka. Carter Lundy, by 0.3 of a second over Ted Burns, will occupy the front row here this evening. Row number 2 will have David Porcelli lining up alongside of Nicholas Daly. Race winners both this season on row number 2. Everett Paddock and Alex Ellis on row number 3. Good lap there out of Ellis, a new name to the NRN broadcast airwaves. The law firm Alexander Wesley Hazelworth, the winner 1 week ago, lining up alongside of Richard Holt in the Target Chip Ganassi Lightning Bolts. Row 5 will have Mobin Khan alongside of Brian Labarge and the NASA Meatball. Row number 6 will see Rod Eskew in those Philadelphia Flyers colors. I called him out on this last time I saw it. There is a gritty on the side of that car, and it is beautiful. Bob Poplet will line up alongside outside of row number 6. Row 7, Joseph Heath in the Pennzoil Yellow Submarine alongside the TNT Shock Racing League's number 14 of Simon Bell. Row 8, Carl Giangrande alongside of Victor Aldrich, a fantastic Team Watson Racing Setups scheme there on the side of the 18 of Vic Aldrich. Jason Paydu and Joao Rafael Silva Lopez on row 9. Row 10 will have Lane Felder and Jacob Gadzella. Row 11, Nagisa Yoshikawa did not set a time, along with Jeremy Story, who did not get a time on the board. All alone on the final row will be the 22 of Andrew Thompson. 23 cars on the grid here this evening for a 13-lap feature event. Field making their way through the final corner. Lundy very quick to the gas. Green flag goes in the air. We are underway here at Suzuka. See if anybody's going to make the big move. Teddy B having a thought outside as Lundy blocks off the inside lane through 1 and 2. Little bit of a tank slapper there out of Ted Burns in the mid-corner.
Side by side behind them.
The S's are hard enough. Trying to do them side by side is nigh impossible, especially on cold tires.
It is, but that's what's awesome about the racing is when you do get them side by side. If they don't kill themselves, it's great to watch. Emphasis on the if.
Yeah, it is so difficult, but especially with the switchbacks of the S's, each one you go through, the car just wants to push more and more. It does not like changing directions through there. Even with kind of the banking that's been put into the S's, all 3 of them are kind of banked a little bit, but on the corner exits, they're kind of off camber, so towards the exit of each of the S, the car just wants to go straight.
I'm curious to see how long it's going to take Yoshikawa to get up to the front. Weird to see him back there. I guess he must have had serious issues with this qualifying.
Well, yeah, he didn't even get out on the racetrack in qualifying. Oh, man, great battle for the lead. Burns, Porcelli, Lundy. Let's count Nicholas Daly in this one, too.
Oh, man.
That was almost Austin Senna into that chicane.
Yeah, you think going side-by-side through the S is scary. It's nothing compared to side-by-side through 130R.
Lundy's looking for a way to make this 3 wide, but they won't let him get to it.
And this hard battling is keeping everybody in this race right now. It's only 2 seconds back to 8th place. Mobin Khan at this point.
think that's my favorite corner on the track, and I don't even know the name of it, but that sweeping right-hander, it looks like a 90-degree corner, but it's not. It's probably like 70 degrees. It's very shallow. And you go into it, you go under the bridge, and it is so fast, but it feels so slow.
The Degner curves are so awesome.
That's what they are, the Degners.
Dangerous too, because the way the exit curve is, it's kind of raised. So in some of the other open wheel cars, it kind of wreaks havoc. So you gotta be really careful. You see all that AstroTurf, and it makes you want to push harder. But it could easily be a death sentence if you just push it over just a little too much.
Man, all the way back to Alex Ellis, even Alexander Wesley Hazelworth. These guys are all still really close. Hazelworth, the first of the cars that's kind of falling off at the back end, is Porcelli able to hold on to the lead. New fast, his lap belongs to Porcelli, to 155 flat.
Draft train at Suzuka, God bless it.
And they do this in the rear world too, right? When Formula Nippon goes here, it's freaking fantastic. Or I guess it's Super Formula now.
Yes, I was going to say, I'm trying to think of what it's actually called now. Japanese Super Formula is the...
I believe it's the Americanized name for it now, that they try and host it up to the Western world with.
Cars that are very comparable in speed to the NTT Indy cars on a lot of road courses. No reason whatsoever they should not run a crossover between those two.
I am full agreement.
Take the Indy cars to Suzuka for a Super Formula round, and bring the Super Formula cars over here to Laguna Seca, Sonoma, something like that.
Yeah. Totally not biased with those track choices, by the way. Nope.
I threw Sonoma in as a bone to you, because quite frankly, it's a... Oh, kidding.
Rage.
Oh, Burns! Around Porcelli for the lead!
Oh! Carter really wanted to send it 3 wide again.
At this point, there's just nowhere for Carter Lundy to go.
No. And it's funny, you can see the body language of that car. He's so antsy trying to get by.
Let's see. Robert Kreiser sending me a message here. You ready to get in the car? I will give it some strong consideration. I will be shooting Monday and Tuesday 600 Speed Week this coming week at Greenwood Valley in Clinton County for Dirt 2 Media. So hopefully we get to see you out there, and maybe we'll try to squeeze my oversized frame into a 600 micro.
Well, you know what?
A lot of money for that.
If you're too busy shooting, I can always come down there and hop in a 600, and I'll go wreck some stuff.
That would be Saturday night. We should get you in a 600. Saturday night, Lanco's Clyde Mark Memorial Speedway, $10,000 to win 600 micro race.
Yeah, I could do $10,000 worth of damage easy. I don't know about winning it.
Gonna turn it into an after dark event.
I can just see it. You get the little driver info form. Previous experience? Yeah, I got lots of experience. I've done all sorts of things.
Make it till you make it.
DW12 at South Boston.
Yeah.
Modified at Winton. Silver Crown at iRacing Super Speedway. What more experience do you need? Oh my. Oh, there it is. There it is.
Wow.
Oh.
Holy cow, they put 6 cars in the middle of the chicane at one time. That was nuts.
He pulled it off. There ain't no way he pulled it off, but he did. Oh my god.
Yeah, hold on. We got to pull this one up here. Well, let's see. We'll give it a second to see what other shenanigans are going to come here as Ted Burns looks outside of Lundy for the race lead. He'll have the inside line. Not able to take advantage, though, as they run their way up through the S's. Let's take a look at the instant replay of Carter Lundy's just insane move into the chicane.
3 wide.
Wow. God, that
Oh,
was
and he gets him 2 for 1.
full tank slapper for Teddy B there, too.
Wild.
That was beautiful. So now, going back to the live look, Lundy's starting to break away a little bit. Not by much, though, because, man, Teddy B, great line into the corner there. How about Alex Ellis and Nicholas Daly doing battle here? Ellis thought he had a move into the hairpin. Nothing there that time. Looks right, looks left, tucks back in line. Oh, great pass. That's into Spoon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Spoon is the double apex corner.
Ben Carswell checking in. Part of the reason the track is so tough is that every single corner complex is difficult and specific. Nothing is an easy 90 right or left. Yeah. Oh, man, they're doing it again at the front of the field, too.
Oh.
Lundy holds them off, but only for now.
Burns has the run on him. Is he going to choose to go to the outside or the inside in the one? He's going to pick the outside, and Porcelli's going to try and follow him right up through it. He's going to make it 3 wide.
Oh, no. Oh, dear.
This is where they die.
Wow.
Oh, and Lundy backs out of it. Almost gets into the side of Porcelli.
I was just expecting to see smoke.
Smoke and chunks of carbon fiber flying through the air. The whole thing is, though, lap 6, one of these guys is going to back out, and they all know it. I don't know who backs out with 1 to go. It's certainly not Porcelli or Lundy. And Ted Burns does not carry the white paint scheme of a defending champion by backing out. I don't... Man, this is going to be intense.
All I'm saying is if you're Ellis, you probably just need to stay pat where you're at.
Yeah. That's what logic might say, but it doesn't look like that's what's happening, as your top 9 are all nose to tail. From Ted Burns back to Richard Holt. Then it's another 6 seconds back to Brian Labarge and Bob Poplett. Pick up that battle here very briefly. Because quite frankly, the one for the lead is just too darn good. But there's 10, 11, 12, and 13 all nose to tail as we'll head back to the front of the field. Oh, that's tight.
Oh, they're going to go 2 wide through 130R.
Oh, that was a...
And what's Lundy going to do coming into the chicane? And Porcelli's right there. Ellis is in the fight now, too.
Porcelli just went... Wow. Porcelli just went...
There's no way they didn't wreck.
Second
That was a
to
crossover
fourth.
on a crossover.
Drag race to the line. That time it was Lundy by 50 thousandths of a second. Oh my goodness, what a battle here at the front of the field. And really, it's a 6-car fight. Everett Paddock is only 7/10 back.
This is just insanity.
Apparently you can go 2 wide through the S's.
For the entirety of the S's.
Can we make the argument again? Please lower the horsepower, lower the downforce on everything.
Wings are for sissies. Bizzle for President 2024, outlawing wings on race cars. Nobody? Alright, send all hate mail to Bizzle at NASCARRaceNetwork.com.
You just went full Enzo Ferrari there. And I'm not totally against it. Aerodynamics is for people who can't build engines.
Bingo. You know what I do for a living? I build engines.
Oh, so that's why your team. I'm sorry, I had to go there.
This is going to be the guy who's going to show up with the cheated up motor to 600 Speed Week finale.
Of course.
And no wings somehow.
Well, yeah, it's a wingless race. Wingless 600 micros.
That's the only kind of micro. The wing cars are silly.
Wingless dirt micros on basically an 1/8 mile long dirt Bristol.
Oh my god, that's going to be incredible.
It is. Oh my god. Lanco is one of my favorite racetracks I have ever been to. I love the USAC midgets when they ran there, but holy cow, do the 600s put on a show. They start...
Now I really want to see you in that car.
Slide jobs start at the start-finish line. Basically, exiting turn 2 and exiting turn 4, just hook a left and slide the back end out and hope for the best. See, Robert Kreiser's checking in saying, I like wings on a race car. I do too. I think the wing 600s there that run every week put on a great show. But oh my god, the wingless cars are just insane. I don't want to see them every week though. They're special when they run there 2 or 3 times a year. Looking at this race, Lundy, Porcelli, Burns, Ellis, Daly, the top 5. As we are working lap number 8 of 13. Coming up next will be the U.S. Open Wheel D-Class cars, the USF 2000 machines. Coming up next, after the conclusion of this race, the Victory Lane interviews. We'll run a couple of commercials and stuff as well. But Lundy blocks off the inside lane. Wow, Porcelli's going to have a great run on Lundy, though. Nobody has the... Oh, there's contact! Oh, Teddy Burns
they're still wrecking
around. Burns goes around, falls back to the 9th position. But that contact has now made this essentially a 2, maybe 3 car race for the win.
They're still 3 wide. Have they learned nothing?
Nothing.
Thankfully for us, no.
The gap now sitting at about a half second for Carter Lundy over David Porcelli. Let's take a look and go back here. Pick up the instant replay and see what happened going into the chicane. A little contact. Ellis and Burns make contact. You don't have... There's just not the room to do that there.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Robert Kreiser saying they don't have a 600, but the Sportsmen are wingless that night. We can put Bizzle in a Sportsman, like a 450.
Okay. I can probably drive that.
You would get absolutely smoked at that place, but I would be here to see it.
Well, Chris, you have like a 406 I rating. Like, I would sure as hell beat you.
Oh, possibly more trouble for Ted Burns. Let's see. Looks like he's maintaining pace, but definitely slow. Possibly some damage on that car. As David Porcelli sets a new fastest lap of the race, and he's having to look through the S's on Lundy. He gets the job done with 4 to go. Robert Kreiser says they have 2 cars. We need a track day, Bizzle.
I was gonna say, can we get a showdown between you and me? Because I think I can lap you twice in 10 laps. I'll put $1,000 down on it right now.
There could be a wager there. Lundy having the look outside on Porcelli. Oh, man, a little bit of a Pruitt fade there by Porcelli. He tries to cover the outside lane and does. Man, but that has absolutely tightened things up. Ellis and Daly are right there. It'll be a 4-car fight with 3 to go.
You'll love to see it.
Snaking down the front stretch. Lundy's going to try it around the outside. No, he's not. He's going to try and cross him up. No, but he might get eaten up by Ellis from behind.
Yeah, I almost think that's a just back out of the corner and build the momentum up the hill through the S's. You know you're not going to make the pass through the S's, so you might as well start to set up the move in the next logical place. You still have a couple of more trips through those S's if you want to get after it. Problem is, I don't know how you defend Lundy's outside dive into the chicane, but you may not have to as Ellis is right there.
That's the answer.
And he maintains him
third place.
Yeah. How did Ellis get that move done on the high side?
I don't know, but that was crazily impressive.
I wonder if Lundy's lost his mojo because Nicholas Daly is right behind him going through the spoon. I am losing my mind here tonight. Ellis is going for the move on Porcelli. Did Porcelli not put enough fuel in the car?
I don't know, but he lost a lot of momentum off of the exit of Spoon.
Oh, man, Nicholas Daly's now there for the lead.
Oh!
Oh, Daly runs a little bit wide, exiting the chicane. That opens the door for Lundy to the outside. Ellis picks up the lead with 2 to go.
Yeah, he just
Lundy's in the draft,
such a bad entry off of the corner. Exit off of the corner, rather.
Lundy does not like losing. He's now got something lit under him. He's going to try and chase down Ellis with everything he's got if he wrecks the both of them.
And it's interesting because this is a bit of a new challenger for, this is the first time we've seen Alex Ellis in the SOF, so we're not used to seeing him and don't really know what he brings to the table outside of some clear pace.
Yeah, 36-35 I rating, only a B-class license. Now, you say only a B, it's a C-class car, but everybody else inside the top 5 are A-class licenses over 4,500 I rating. This would be upset of the season if Alex Ellis is able to hold on and pick up the win here. I mean, we talk about during some of the league races that we do that I rating doesn't really matter all that much. It's all that matters here in the SOFs because that's how you get into the top split.
And the bigger the rating, the bigger the points.
Yeah, not only that, this is a huge opportunity for some of the drivers in the field that are usually bottom split drivers, especially with the trouble that Ted Burns has had, going out there and passing those top cars, and you can pick up a ton of I rating. And on the flip side, if you're one of these top guys, you can lose a ton of I rating too.
Whoa!
Wow, that's tight. Lundy holds on. Ellis has to run a little bit wide through the corner. White flag is out. 1 lap to go here at Suzuka. Daly going to work. Oh, Ellis! The big slide!
What a bizzle.
Man, I don't even... That was full Prost and Senna towards turn 1. It's just that Porcelli backed out.
Yeah, that sequence may have just clinched it for Carter.
It's not over yet, right? Ellis has been super, super fast in the final sectors of this track. He might be able to get back there, if not passing Lundy, but at least be right on the rear gearbox.
Oh man, Alexander Wesley Hazelworth back there in 6th was all sorts of squirrely as Ellis makes the lunge into the hairpin. He's going to have to make up a bunch of ground here very, very quickly. It's not going to happen into Spoon. Try to carry as much speed as he possibly can through the exit of the corner. He's going to have to get the draft
into 130R and make the move in the chicane. That's his only option now, just a big, huge dive into the chicane. And if you're David Porcelli, you're sitting back there kind of reminiscing over 1991, waiting to see what's going to happen.
Into the chicane for the final time. Lundy able to cover. Man, not a great exit, though. Ellis is right there. Full drag race to the line. Lundy gets the win by 67 thousandths of a second. 2/10 separating your top 3 as David Porcelli sets a new fastest lap of the race on the final circuit. But it is Carter Lundy that picks up the win.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. What a show out of the Indy Pro 2000 cars. Again, I don't know why people don't come run this place. Holy crap, that was an incredible race. Take a look at your full screen race results as Carter Lundy is going to go do some off-tracking and going to hide someplace. Lundy by 67 thousandths over Alex Ellis. David Porcelli rounds out the podium. Nicholas Daly, Everett Paddock will complete the top 5. 6 through 10, Alexander Wesley Hazelworth, Mobin Khan, Brian Labarge, Bob Poplet, and Nagisa Yoshikawa. Good run for Nagisa to get up inside the top 10 as the FIA will not be happy with Carter Lundy doing donuts on pit lane. Richard Holt, Ted Burns, Joseph Heath, Rod Eskew, and Simon Fell back through the 15th position. 16 through 20, Carl Giangrande, Vic Aldrich, Joao Rafael Silva Lopez, Andrew Thompson, and Jacob Gadzella. Final 3 cars here tonight, all 5 or more laps down. Those will be Jason Paydu, Lane Felder, and Jeremy Story. What a race. Holy cow.
I'm exhausted after that, and we still have one more race to go.
Oh, let's see. Let's get ready for our... We'll get ready for the Victory Lane interviews here. Let's see. We may go all the way back to the start of this one because, oh my goodness, what a race we got here tonight. Let's see if we are going to have any of our drivers pop in here for an interview. Oh, look at that. We got them all. Holy cow. Let's see. Let's start things off with Mr. Carter Lundy, our race winner. And oh my goodness, man. Talk us through that one, I guess is the best I can say, because the show you guys put on here tonight was absolutely incredible. Congratulations on a big win.
Yeah, thank you. I don't really know how I'm going to talk you through this one, to be honest. Yeah, too much going on, too many overtakes and too many different laps in too many different places. So The race is really hectic, a lot of fun. It was really clean. It was a shame to see Ted get spun around there in the right near the end of the race. The battle in the first 9 laps was pretty insane. We were going side by side through pretty much everywhere. And same for the last few laps. It was just as good, but we lost Ted. So unfortunate to him, but that was a pretty crazy race.
Yeah, it seemed like the battles were kind of everywhere. I have to ask you, though, about the outside pass into the chicane that you made a couple of times right at the tail end of the lap. How do you know that you're going to have the car to make that stick? Because that is the gutsiest of possible places you could try to make a pass.
Yeah, you definitely don't know if the car is going to stick or not. You just brake as late as you can, throw it to the AstroTurf on the exit, and hope you keep it on the track. So one of the times we were 3 wide going into there, and I was just, you know what, I'm just going to brake as late as I can, went around the outside of both of them. So yeah, it worked out pretty well.
Yes, it did. And quite frankly, one of these races that I think is going to do some things for a possible championship battle here to shape up. Obviously, with a little bit lower SOF, it's not going to be as many points for a win. But, man, you got to feel good after that one because you earned that every corner of every lap.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. That was definitely one of, if not the best races that we've had over here over the past couple of seasons. So let's try and do that again in the USF.
All right, buddy. Well, congratulations on the win. Before we let you go, make sure you do all the big sponsor plugs and thank yous that you have there, too.
Yeah, thanks to everybody in the booth for commentating as usual, putting on a good show. Can't wait to watch this one back, especially. It's going to be hopefully as entertaining as it was to drive in. So thanks to you guys. Thanks to Nagisa, Team Watson Racing for the Indy Pro setups, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
All right, buddy. Thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us. And now let's bring in Alex Ellis, our second place finisher here tonight. And man, I'll tell you what, first time we're getting to talk to you up in the booth here, Alex. Congratulations on the podium. And was it as crazy behind the wheel as what we saw up here in the booth?
Yeah, it was nuts. And yeah, just like an absolute blast. I had no idea what this car was going to be like coming into the race because, to be honest, I found out about the race 18 minutes before it, and I've never really run officials. Yeah, I've never really done officials in this car either, but luckily I know Suzuka quite well. So jumped in, and honestly, the first half of the race for me was about positioning, like staying in the draft of the lead, but mainly I was just trying to learn the car, learn the draft, learn how the other drivers were behaving and everything like that, so that I could piece it together at the end. And then, I don't know, the last like 3 or 4 laps, it really started to heat up. And then that was when it was just like go time. So it was a blast. I'm sure we're all drenched in sweat. It was crazy. But really happy that there was minimal incidents and contact. Like it was really, really good, close, clean racing. So props to all the guys.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun to watch you guys out here tonight. Congratulations on the podium. And I guess now are we going to see you out here for more of these 9 o'clock weekly shows? Well, depending on where you are anyway. But 9 o'clock Eastern time shows.
Yeah, so I'm Eastern Standard Time, so it works for me. To be honest, like I said, I didn't even know that these races existed. So it seems to be something pretty amazing that I've stumbled upon. So eyes are definitely here, and hopefully I'll be back. I'm definitely planning to.
All right, buddy. Well, congratulations on the podium. And before we let you go, make sure you get in any of the sponsor plugs or thank yous that you might have as well.
Of course, as always, Satellite Racing, and then a special shout out to Cyandra and Adam Crane as well.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us here. And man, that was insane. Now, Satellite Racing is attached to our third place finisher here as well, Mr. David Porcelli. And David, congratulations on the podium. And I guess the first question we got to ask is, you bring a guy in off the Satellite Racing team, and then he goes out and he beats you on the racetrack.
Yeah, championship is what matters. You know me, Chris.
Well, yeah, and this is one of those races that I think has the potential to maybe not have as much of an impact, but it's still big to have a good finish at a place like Suzuka, irregardless of what you're going to earn points-wise out of it. because it's big, and some of the guys had some issues that were around you for the championship.
Yeah, it's really important to just make sure you get all your strong 8 races in. Wins are great and everything, but I've been able to secure 2 championships with minimal wins. You know, it's really just about being at the front, consistently being in that front row, and bringing home the podiums. I'm also going on vacation this season, so I won't be here for the next 2 weeks. It means I need to maximize every time I'm in the car. So yeah, it's really important just to bring it home. I did get loose on that exit there. I was glad I was able to save it and just salvage the podium.
Yeah, well, I say talk us through a little bit of the race, because some of the stuff we saw were things that I don't think you can actually do in a race car. Carter Lundy's dive bombs into the chicane on the outside were crazy. Too wide through the S's. Was it as much fun for you behind the wheel as what we had up in the booth?
Oh, it was an absolute blast. I mean, I haven't had this series has awesome races every week, and like that was probably the best that I can remember for the past 6 months. There were so many people who were quick enough to be able to win, and so that just made it like a 5-horse race throughout the entire 13 laps. Really looking forward to the next one too.
Yeah, it was a blast. Well, good luck on the next one here, brother. And before we let you go, make sure you do all the sponsor plugs and thank yous here as well.
Absolutely. Huge shout out to Satellite Racing, getting a double podium. What's up? Shout out to Team Watson Racing. And special thanks to Racecraft One. Hi to the family. And thanks to National Racing Network for an awesome broadcast every week. I hope to see you guys in the booth in about 45 minutes.
Sounds good. Before we let you go here, Ben Carswell jumping into the comments saying Porcelli doesn't know what Iowa means. Coming up, that one will be coming up next week. We're looking forward to that one. But David, congratulations. Go get yourself ready for the next one here, because, oh my goodness, this one is going to be hard to top here, boys. James, we'll come to you first. Abject insanity out of the C-Class cars. Do we see the same thing out of the D-Class cars in about 10 minutes?
Yeah, honestly, if we don't, I'd be shocked. But you never know. There could be a bigger wreck that makes things a little more spread out. But if these things are able to put on what we saw, then I can't imagine the USF won't be just as good, if not better. Because this was unbelievable.
Yeah, this one was incredible. And Patrick, one of the things you talk about is the difference in the differentials between the C-Class car and the D-Class car. There are some pretty substantial differences between those two cars. Does that affect how you have to drive the racetrack, especially with it being a fixed setup?
Oh, absolutely. One thing we were talking about in the pre-race, we were riding along with Brian Labarge for a little bit, and I was noticing he was kind of trailing the brake while he was getting on the gas, which is kind of a bad habit to do in the C-Class car, but it's something you have to do in the D-Class car. Otherwise, you're going to get that rear end loose, especially through the switchbacks in the S's. So even though they're same chassis, very similar car, that one change between them makes it a very, very difficult car to wheel around this place. But I'm looking forward to a fantastic show once again. These guys have done it before. Hopefully they do it again. Whenever we get a super close finish in the PM18s, usually it's even tighter in the USF 2000 cars.
Yeah, we are looking forward to this in a very big way, but that will be coming up here in about 10 minutes or so. Until then, we're going to run a couple of commercials and get everybody ready to roll here, because this one is going to be a fantastic show. You don't want to miss it. Excuse me, don't go anywhere. You're watching the U.S. Open Wheel Doubleheader right here on the National Racing Network.
I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Welcome back, everybody. More iRacing action here on the National Racing Network coming up for you tonight. Now it is the stars and cars of the U.S. Open Wheel D-Class Championship coming to you from the Suzuka Circuit. My name is Chris Graham, joined in the booth, as always, once again, by Mr. James Watson and Mr. Patrick Byrne. Thank you very much to Connor Baldwin for your efforts on the cameras here this evening. We appreciate everybody's hard work that gets these shows up on the air. And man, I'm still just flabbergasted at the race we saw just a couple of minutes ago out of the C-Class. That was borderline insanity here, James. And it feels like we might be able to get it again because cars numbered 1 through 4 in this race: Ted Burns, Carter Lundy, David Porcelli, Nicholas Daly.
Hell yeah. Got the regular ringers in, and yeah, as long as we got them, it's sure to be an incredible show. Oh, and hopefully we get something like that knockdown drag out slugfest that we saw.
I have a hunch we will. Call it guesstimation, the power of, well, the 4 functioning brain cells that we have in the booth here. And Bizzle, quite frankly, it would be a surprise if we don't see that as cars are getting out onto the racetrack for qualifications. Talk to us a little bit about how the differences play out in these cars and what we could possibly see that's could be different from what we saw in the last race.
The big place to watch in this one is going to be those S's. Right here where we see Ted Burns, the car is going to get very squirrely through here, and it's where I think a lot of ground is going to be made up if you're trying to catch somebody. It's going to be very easy to lose a bunch of ground, and frankly, if you get out of those S's poorly, could be an easy spot to gain or lose coming into the Degners.
Well, and James, we talk about it a lot with this car. It's a momentum car. You screw up the S's, you haven't just screwed up Degners. You've kind of screwed it up almost to 130R because it takes you so long to get the car back up to full pace again.
Yeah, I mean, the hairpin is going to act as a bit of an equalizer for that. You know, if you're good on the brakes, you might be able to take back some of that you give up. But yeah, otherwise you're pretty much spot on. Honestly, the most important corner on this track for this car, I would have to say Spoon, because that's a lot of straightaway. And that's going to be a lot of momentum for a car that doesn't have a whole lot of it. So if you do not maximize your speed off of exit, you are going to be hurting for what feels like half the track.
Yeah, we'll see how that all shakes up here as everybody still is on their outlap. You basically had to get rolling as soon as the qualification session started, as this race is only going to be 7 laps in length as well. So not a lot of time, Bizzle, to get after it, especially if you end up in the mid-pack.
Yeah, you're kind of going to have to be full send from the time the green flag drops. There's going to be no time to sit back and relax.
Did a little bit of research during the break on Alex Ellis, our runner-up finisher in the last race. does not run officials a ton, as he told us. It does a lot of prototype driving, a little bit of F4, but not a ton. Mostly P2 and P3 running in the fixed series. That was a heck of a run for Alex Ellis. Congratulations to him in making the podium in what I think was his first appearance here on the NRN airwaves on the iRacing platform. Thank you to everybody that's still tuned in here over on YouTube. We appreciate it. Let us know in the comments. We're going to get this one up. He came in a couple of minutes ago. Cody Brooks checking in, saying, dang, I showed up at the literal end. No, you showed up at the halfway point. You got a whole nother race to go yet. This race has 24 cars on the entry, 26 cars on the entry list, split across two splits of 13. It's a low number here in D class because you can't have the big grids in this car. Otherwise, your D class is more, it's still meant to be a little bit of a learning tool and a step up. But my goodness, do these cars put on fantastic racing. As Ted Burns is about to be the first, or one of the first, to put an official lap time on the board. David Porcelli is the first over the line, 2 minutes 2.218. Teddy Burns, 2 minutes 2.513. So about 0.3 of a second here on lap number 1 as Declan Webb goes third quick and Joseph Heath up to fourth. Now Nicholas Daly slots into P3. We'll pick up David Porcelli. He is your current pole sitter. Kenji Yamamoto getting up onto the board, 7th quick, 2 minutes 4.420. About 2 seconds, 2.2 seconds off the pace as Porcelli goes for a spin. That will negate the lap for him. And we'll pick up Ted Burns coming through right at the same exact part of the racetrack. Jason Miller having an off track, as does Christopher Chitterling. That will invalidate the laps that those drivers are running. Looks like Jason Miller will not get a lap on the board at all here in qualifications, as he has used both of his qualifying laps. No time on the board for car number 10. Carter Lundy, no quick time, 2 minutes 1.736. Again, a half second faster than David Porcelli. Lap number 2 for Ted Burns, 2 minutes 2.048. Going to be good enough for second quick. He will leapfrog David Porcelli, but let's pick up Carter Lundy in the Sim Racing Center number 2. He's already flying around this place on lap number 1, wide through the hairpin. And that's going to be it. He will not complete lap number 2. Let's pick up Richard Holt. Holt driving an old... Is that a Prost? Oh, hold on to it. He goes for a slide into the kitty litter.
Well, now we're going to get a better look at it.
And he gets an air horn from the crowd, too. That wasn't very nice of him. Orion Thompson finishing up his second qualification lap. Let's pick up Christopher Chitterling. I believe is going to be the last car to get a lap scored here. Lap number 1 does not score for the pilot of car number 12. See what he can do here on lap number 2. He comes over the start-finish line. 5th quick. Nice lap for Chitterling. 2:02.561. And with about 10 seconds remaining in the qualification session, that will close out our starting grid here for this evening. And Carter Lundy goes back-to-back, picking up the pole positions. Brian Labarge in the comments. No one wants to be shown on screen. Yes, we have that effect on people. Mostly Bizzle. People don't want to be around him.
What?
Understandable.
Watson, you're one to talk.
Well, I wouldn't know. People aren't around me, so.
That's true. He usually has to hang off of them.
Yeah. I have to leave my house first.
I have gotten Watson out of his house successfully twice. It's not an easy task, people.
Only once, though, was it actually in the, was he not in the sim rig while you got him out of the house? You actually had to pick up the entire sim rig to get him out of the house. All right, let's take
That's why I had to buy a truck.
So you can take Watson in the sim rig.
My sim rig is literally just a disc chair and a desk, so it's not all that hard.
Let's show you the starting grid before we say anything really dumb and get ourselves thrown off of YouTube. Carter Lundy and Ted Burns again will occupy row number 1 for tonight's race here at Suzuka. Row number 2 will have Nicholas Daly lining up alongside of David Porcelli. In fact, I think that may be the exact top 4 that we had from the last race in order. Christopher Chitterling lining up alongside of Kenji Yamamoto on row 3. Row 4 will have Richard Holt and Declan Webb. Row number 5, Joseph Heath in the, well, couple of Penske liveried cars here. Orion Thompson in a shell livery, very Penske-esque livery there on the number 8 of Orion Thompson and that familiar yellow submarine of Joseph Heath. Row 6 will see Rod Eskew lining up alongside another Penske car, this one belonging to Jason Miller. And all alone on row number 7, the players' colors of Josh Ravel.
Again, I love that player scheme.
Actually, what is that, the Josh Ravel of YouTube fame?
It might possibly be. Might have to do a collaboration here.
Could be. Fields off the final corner. Green flag goes in the air. We are underway here at Suzuka. Oh, God, they are going to fan out so wide down into the corner. Lord. Into the look from the NRN drone. Porcelli thinks he's going to make a move on Lundy, has to back out of it getting into the S's, but man, looked like a little bit cleaner of an entry line. Man, Lundy, though, really able to get the power down quickly.
I believe that Josh Ravel might be the Josh Ravel from YouTube. Just posted a video about the tragedy of Greg Moore, a fantastic driver. Shame we did not get to see the catch a lot of him. Fantastic on the speedways. And he's out there running a Greg Moore scheme, so it's gotta be him.
Yeah, very well could be. Actually, watch that piece today. Really well done video there by Josh. So you can check out his YouTube channel as well, but don't click off of this one just yet. Watch it all the way through to the end. We need that sweet, sweet watch time. It's Ted Burns, Carter Lundy continuing to battle for the lead. Wow.
Those exit curves, man, I tell you, they are not kind here.
Yeah, that was a moment.
When you just have them.
So, let's see. Bizzle, you have seen both pieces, both art designs here. Should we announce a couple of shirts that are coming? Some merch?
I believe so, because I love both of the designs we've got.
Okay, the first one we will have, and we'll actually show it on screen Monday night, maybe, if I can get the artwork to Bizzle in time. A Silver Crown shirt with the Bolt-On Arrow logos on it. If you like Snap-on tools, you'll love our Bolt-On Arrow. They're the best bolt-ons in sim racing. Is there 3 wide to 1?
Oh my God! In the world!
That was the latest back out ever by Ted Burns. And it really wasn't even a back out. It was barely a breathe of the throttle, but my goodness.
That
3
is
wide
the
all the way
move of
through
the
1 and 2.
century. Like, David took the lead 3 wide on the outside of the turn 1 and 2 complex at Suzuka. Oh my God, that move is not easy to pull off.
So now what do we see out of Lundy and Burns? And quite frankly, for that matter, Nicholas Daly and Christopher Chitterling as well. Chitterling, by the way, carrying the number 12 here tonight. One of the lowest I-rated drivers in the field. Qualifies inside the top 5. Keeps that car running inside the top 5. Good run thus far for Chitterling. Here comes Lundy looking inside. God, that's so gutsy. And he's going to go outside into the chicane again.
Oh. It's a carbon copy of an hour ago.
Yeah. And how many times last season did we see Porcelli and Lundy finish within 1,000th of a second of each other?
I believe it was 4 times last season they did it.
Man, what a move by Daly outside into 1.
No one is giving anyone any breathing room at all. The heat is on. Only a 7-lap race here. There's no time to relax. You got to get up there and send it towards the front.
Possibly trouble towards the back of the pack. Let's take a look and see what happened here, Rod. Eskew may have had a piece of this all down into turn 1. Also, Jason Miller and Kenji Yamamoto. A little bit of contact. Yamamoto goes around. No harm, no foul. Other than losing a bunch of track position. Back at the front, Porcelli continues to hold off Lundy, Daly, and Burns. Heck, you can take it all the way back to 7th place. Richard Holt, half the field battling for the race lead. Ryan LaBarge, a big fat yes to this one. Insane. That's a good word to use. Lundy going to have the look on Porcelli now. Porcelli's going to get the little bit of drafting help again through 130. No, that's not the 130R. I'm confused on my corners.
No,
not
you're
really
right.
surprised. Oh, was it? Okay.
It's okay, Chris. We know you're an oval guy.
Left turn, left turn, left turn, left turn.
And you still managed to screw that one up.
That is correct. Yeah, because a cartoon movie told me one time you got to turn right to go left. Lundy looking outside into 1. Porcelli gives him the fade.
Oh.
Daly's going to sneak right on by.
Well, maybe not.
Just yet. They're making contact.
That may have been some right side romance from Carter Lundy.
That was a lot farther than right side romance. Those right side things we can't talk about on air.
Tell you what, though, everybody keeps them kind of on the straight and narrow here. Is possibly a little bit of a connection issue here for Declan Webb towards the back of this train of cars. Florian Thompson is actually catching up really quickly on the race leaders here as well. It could be 8 cars battling for the race lead. Oh, that's a gutsy spot for Lundy to be into the hairpin.
Oh, well, I thought it was going to go a lot worse.
We did see Lundy run that outside lane a little bit, though, in qualifications. Gonna try it again here into 130R. I don't... At some point, Lundy doesn't let the squeeze happen. 2 by 2 through the chicane. And already working lap number 5 of 7. This thing is going to be over in a hurry. And, man, we've got the racing we want. Oh, Lundy tried to sell the dummy a little bit. Almost like he's trying to set the move up into the S's. Porcelli able to cover off. Oh, one car way out. Tough break for Christopher Chitterling. That car spears the outside tire barriers.
That is a violent off.
Yeah, it kind
of cars go off like that very often.
Yeah, it almost looked like he got the big wiggle. We'll pick it up here on the NRN Instant Replay. I don't know if he had help or not, but definitely a big hit there for Christopher Chitterling. Oh, trouble possibly a little bit further back in the pack as well. Joseph Heath and Josh Ravel getting into things as Heath way off the racetrack. That's full Luke Bryan kicking the dust up. Then we can slide over here and I say, see what happened to Josh Ravel. Lost it on corner entry. Backs it hard into the tires. So now we go back to the front of the field. Lundy tries the outside move again. Just not able to get the car, get the power down.
This is incredible. They've been racing like it's the last lap for the last 4 laps, and we still have 2 more laps left to go.
There was math there, and I am confuzzled.
Don't try to work it out, just assume it's the right answer. That's at least what I tell my teachers.
How about Lundy? Outside of Porcelli through the S's? They stay side by side. Gosh, that is such a gutsy move there.
I thought there was contact. Oh, wow.
Once again, fantastic racing here at the front of the field. And now Nicholas Daly and Ted Burns going to be side by side. They get it straightened back out. It'll be Porcelli, Lundy, Daly, Burns, Webb, your top 5. Lundy, huge dive outside.
You saw it work on the outside in the previous race, not able to get it done this time. He's going to be right behind Porcelli, though, as they go in the spoon.
Yeah, he got the big wiggle off the corner. Otherwise, he might have had him.
Well, and that leads us nicely into our second merch announcement. If you like the Wiggles and their logo, you're going to love the Big Wiggle merch that we're going to be dropping. It's not a total copy. I think it's just different enough that we don't get a cease and desist.
It might be the C&D shirt.
It very well
In which
could
case,
be.
that'll be the next piece of merch where we'll just put C&D right in the top of a shirt.
That is correct.
Redacted.
Actually, we will just put the cease and desist letter on a shirt. Lundy again there.
Wow,
Lundy's-
that was
Oh,
a great
man.
corner for Daly.
Porcelli's going to block all the way down to that inside wall, not give Lundy any room to go for it. Lundy's got the run, though, as they're coming in turn 1. And
But
Wow,
man.
that was dirty.
Lundy gets it around the outside. Can he hold it off through the second part of the corner? No, he can't, but they're going to be side by side as they come through the S's.
What a battle for the lead again between Carter Lundy, David Porcelli. Will throw Ted Burns in the mix. Declan Webb up to 4th, Richard Holt to 5th is Nicholas Daly. You heard James mention it. Rough corner for Daly. He lost 3 spots. Lundy now has the race lead. Porcelli could fall off the podium. Webb has to back out of it, though. Nice run for Declan Webb, up 4 after qualifying in the 8th position here tonight. Now, where do we see the move from Ted Burns? Do we see a move from Ted Burns?
expect abject stupidity going into the Casio triangle.
That sounds like fun. Porcelli's going to be right there.
I was just about to say, does anyone have a run for Lundy? And Porcelli's going to make the move side by side through 130R with Ted Burns. Does he send the dive in to the triangle?
It's just not there.
He gets it on Ted Burns. Ted Burns going to fight back, though. They're going to drag race to the line, but it's easily going to be Lundy crossing it first.
Carter Lundy gets the win.
Eddie gets him.
Ted Burns over David Porcelli by 31 thousandths of a second for the second and third position. But Carter Lundy picks up the race win. When he shows up, he goes 2 for 2. A lot. Does it again here tonight. Picking up the win at Suzuka in both Indy Pro 2000 and USF 2000. And from the top rope, Kenji Yamamoto steals fastest lap of the race away. I don't know how. But Carter Lundy gets your race win here at Suzuka. While they come around, let's take a look at your official race results. Carter Lundy over Ted Burns, David Porcelli, Declan Webb, and Richard Holt. Nicholas Daly, Orion Thompson, Rod Eskew, Joseph Heath, and Jason Miller complete the top 10. 11 to 13, Kenji Yamamoto, Christopher Chitterling, and Josh Ravel. I love that they're still racing their way back to pit lane. Like there's another lap to go here.
This is one of my favorite things to do after you've had a really good race with someone, because you'll cross the checkered start-finish line and you'll call out to whoever was in front and go, hey, if there was another lap, I totally could have got you. So on the cooldown lap, you still race and see if you could have got him.
Comment from Cody Brooks. We got to get this one on the air. $10 super chat. Appreciate it, brother. Drive-by, like, and beer support. Thank you, sir. That will definitely...
Hell yeah.
That'll pick us up a 6-pack of something nice. So we now have, let's see, we have our third place finisher in the booth ready for an interview. We'll see if we get our top 2 finishers, but we'll go ahead and do the first one here with third place finisher David Porcelli. And man, I'll tell you what, David, a heck of a battle there. It seemed like it was a whole lot of craziness everywhere once again, just from the drop of the green flag.
Yeah, I was trying to keep myself out of it, keep my nose clean. Just gutted that my defense didn't hold true for that final lap. Really, for me, the race was relatively calm. I did have to defend, each lap, but there was no carnage in front of me. I'm dealing with Carter, who I've raced for, just like years at this point. We're side by side every week, so I trust him a lot. Yeah, for me, it was pretty calm.
It's funny because it was a lot of the same that we saw in the Indy Pro race, and yet because the cars are so different, it had to feel a little bit different behind the wheel just because how you have to manage momentum as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, the USF 2000, especially with the fixed sets, like everyone we all have the same straight line speed. We have the same amount of grip on exit and entry. So that really does tighten up the racing, and it makes the grid much, much closer together when it comes to qualifying and finally side-by-side racing in the main event.
Well, you guys put on a hell of a show for us tonight. Congratulations on the double podium. And before we let you go, do the sponsor plugs and thank yous for us again here.
Absolutely. Shout out to Satellite Racing. Thanks to Team Watson Racing and Racecraft One Indianapolis. Happy to be here twice in the booth with National Racing Network. Be sure to check out their broadcasts on YouTube. And yeah, hope to see you guys next week. Oh, sorry, I won't be here next week, so I'll see you guys in a couple.
Yeah, sounds good, brother. Thank you much. Looking forward to that one. Let's now bring in a guy who probably feels a little bit hosed after race number 1 here, but a nice recovery driving race 2, coming home second place, Ted Burns. Congratulations. Talk us through your night, because a lot of the stuff we saw in the Indy Pro race, and ultimately what put you back in the Indy Pro race, we got a lot of here in this one as well.
Yeah, for sure. It was Indy Pro is definitely a nice warm-up for finishing the job in the USF 2000 race. But yeah, it was a tough race. Both of them. I mean, these guys are hard to race. It's super fast and competitive, and I just made a little mistake, mistiming a move into David in the Indy Pro, and that cost me big time up there. So I was just trying to not make a mistake here, and I almost looped it and spooned one lap. I think it was completely sideways. Nick was like, "Dude, I saw you at a 45 in the mirror." I mean, I was full opposite lock, thought it was going around, and I somehow drove out of it, and I was like, I don't know how I saved that, but happy I did, because I was able to get back up there and have a great battle on the last lap. It was so hard. I knew I had to get past the both of them at the same time. I don't think I could pick them off one at a time, and just couldn't quite get the run into turn 1, which is where I got boxed out earlier in the race, and it was a run from there. So props to Carter and David. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we saw the box out that you just talked about, 3 wide in turn 1. How many places did you put a race car tonight that you're theoretically not allowed to put a race car at Suzuka?
Definitely a lot, and especially after practice, I didn't think it was possible, because a couple of times you just go a little offline into there, and the rear end was kicking out, and you're sliding, spinning. So, like I said, I don't know how I kept it on track. I don't know how the other guys did, but man, it was awesome to see, and yeah, super close, side by side through the S's. Yeah, it's just props to the other drivers, for being able to do that. It's awesome.
Well, congratulations on the podium finish tonight here, brother. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us. And before we let you go, make sure you do all the big sponsor plugs and thank yous for us, too.
Yep, for sure. Got to thank Downforce Racing. Everett and Nick this week put on a good setup in Indy Pro. It was definitely fast, and thought we had a good race here in USF. So, thanks to those guys. Thanks to you for putting on an awesome broadcast. I love watching it each week, even if I can't make it every week. Definitely hope I can be back. And thanks to everyone for coming out and racing the series.
All right, brother. Well, thank you much. We appreciate the kind words from you. And now we're going to talk to the man of the evening here, Mr. Carter Lundy. And I'll tell you what, ho-hum, you start on pole, you win the race. It was like nothing happened here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, nothing happened. That's one way to put it, for sure. think I'm gonna need a couple hours to recover after this one. Maybe sit by the couch, grab a cold beer, relax.
Yeah, it was one of those
maybe
nights.
In a couple of years, but it was a couple of great races, especially in this one. I mean, especially in both. They're both great, and David did a. Sorry, I just gotta turn my volume off for a sec there. Okay, yeah, David had a great defense throughout the whole race. He was keeping me behind. It was really difficult to pass him. I was really surprised, but he just kept me behind for the whole race until the last lap. I was trying it everywhere, and I just managed to get him through the S's on the last lap. And then going into turn 1 there on the last lap, I made a really late move back to the outside with Ted there, so that was a little bit risky, but we all made it through safely, and too many close moments in that race for sure. I thought I was going to get taken out, all three of us taken out a couple times.
Yeah, that was a bizzle and a half into turn number 1, but talk us through that pass in the S's, because at a car and a track where momentum is really important, that's not the easiest way to try to make that pass with 1 to go.
No, I think we went side by side through the S's one time before that, and I was on the other side, so it didn't quite work. And then going into turn 1, I just wanted to pinch him as far to the inside as I could, and then move over at the last second so I could carry a lot of speed around the outside, which I just managed to do, but he was still there, so we kept it going through the next few corners. And yeah, as you said, it's all about momentum. I was carrying probably a lot more speed than I would if there wasn't a car there, just trying to get ahead of him, and I just inched ahead right before Dunlop, I think it is. So, and then him and Ted went side by side, so that pretty much not sealed the deal, but made the last couple of sectors pretty easy.
Yeah, fantastic drive for you tonight. Congratulations on the pair of wins, and one more time before we let you go, do all the sponsor plugs and thank yous for us.
Yep, same as usual. Thanks to you guys for the broadcast. It's definitely going to be one I'm looking forward to watch back after I get off my computer. And thanks to everybody for showing up, giving us probably one of the best broadcasts, if not the best broadcast that we've had in the last couple of seasons here. So thanks to everybody for putting on that show on the track, and thanks to Nagisa and Team Hudson Racing for the setup, but that was last race. So yeah, thanks again, and I'll see you next week.
All right, buddy. Thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us here in the booth. And, man, I'll tell you what, I'm going to bring this comment back up from Ben Carswell much earlier in the show here, boys. Part of the reason the track is so tough is that every single corner complex is difficult and specific. Nothing is an easy 90 right or left. It is spot on for why Suzuka is such a great racetrack. And also, James, why it puts on such incredible racing for us as well, because we saw guys tonight that are some of the best on the iRacing platform, the best in these cars, and they showed what you can do when you put on a great race at Suzuka, or how to put that on.
Yeah, it was incredible. Like, these two races have been, and I know we say this like every week, but this might have been one of the best races that I've ever seen. Like, the level of action and some of the moves. Like, I'm gutted for David for the USF race in the sense of you pull off 3 wide around the outside in the turn 1-2 complex. It's like, you deserve to win the race off of an unreal move like that, because the skill you need from all parties involved to pull that off is astronomically high. And you see those moves attempted a lot in these races, but very rarely do they actually end up how it ended up. Usually it ends a lot more differently with none of the cars making it to the beginning of the S's, but yeah. And so with the different corners, it just breeds better racing because you need a different skill set for every corner.
Yeah, and quite frankly, Bizzle, I think as we look ahead on the schedule here, next week it's the first of 2 oval weeks on the schedule for the U.S. Open Wheel doubleheader. Heading off to Iowa Speedway, it is a super speedway in the PM18 car, and it is full-on crazy pack race here in the D-Class.
Yeah, in the D-Class car, it's absolutely nuts. It's like driving Talladega out there. You're wide open the whole time, 3 wide battles. It's so much fun. And the PM18s, it's a very, very similar thing, except it's open setup. So the cars are a little bit faster. You have guys that are going to build it for the high line, build it for the low line. And you don't necessarily have to lift. You kind of just have to crack off the throttle and breathe it a little bit, which makes it just an incredible race as well. Iowa is one of my favorite tracks in any of the open wheel cars, and I can't wait to see these guys go on and fight over there.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, especially the D-Class cars. No cautions on Iowa Speedway, which is, it can lead to some craziness and insanity and all sorts of other things, but we're looking forward to that one in a big way. Coming up on Monday night, 9:45 p.m. in the East, the A- team will be bringing you the broadcast of the Silver Crown Cup from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I will be off shooting Hyper Racing 600 Speed Week Monday and Tuesday. Back in the booth Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Bizzle will be in the car with the Sim Racers Club at Watkins Glen, and he thinks he's got something for Johnny Avila, Kevin Dick, and that entire crew. We'll see if he's just blowing smoke or not this Wednesday night. And on Thursday, as we mentioned, we're back here for the U.S. Open Wheel doubleheader from Iowa Speedway. Thank you very much, Mr. James Watson, Mr. Patrick Byrne. You guys, as always, are just absolute rock stars coming to help out in the booth here. We appreciate that. And time for us to get the heck on out of here. For everybody here at the National Racing Network that makes these shows happen, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will talk to you all on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody.